Alright, welcome back. So the previous video we talked about function notation, but that was when given an equation or finding function notation using a graph. This time we're going to be finding domain and range using function notation. So again, function notation can be used to find the domain or the range when given one of the two. So if we're given the domain, we can find the range, or if we're given the range, we can find the domain. So here's a function right here. F of x equals 3x. Find the range when given the domain 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so our x values, our domain, are going to be 2, 3, and 4. So when x equals 2, what does y equal? When x equals 3, what does y equal? And when x equals 4, what does y equal? Okay, so we're going to use function notation to find that. So the first one we do is when x equals 2. So instead of x, we're going to put 2. So f of 2 equals 3 times, well, 2. Because instead of x, we plugged in our 2, and now we solve. So for f of 2, it equals 3 times 2, which is positive 6. Alright, so our first range value would be positive 6. Now we got to find out what does y equal when x equals 3. So when x equals 3, so f of 3, we plug in 3 for x here. So 3 times 3 gets positive 9. So f of 3 equals 9. So far we know that our y values are going to be 6 and 9 when we're given x equals 2 and x equals 3. Now our last one, when x equals 4, our y is going to equal 12. Because 3 times 4 is 12, so f of 4 is 12. Now our range, whenever we write it out, we'll give it the braces, and it ended up being 6, 9, and 12, and so there we go. So when the domain is 2, 3, and 4 for this function, our range will be 6, 9, and 12. Let's check out another one. So right here we have f of x equals negative 2x plus 1. Find the range when given the domain. So find the y values if we have these x values. So when x equals 2, x equals 4, and x equals 6, what are the three y values going to be from this function? So when we plug in 2, we plug in 4, and we plug in 6, what are the three answers going to be? That's another way to look at this. So the first one, we should have f of 2 equals negative 2 times 2 plus 1. Because again, we're replacing the x with parentheses, so it's real easy to just throw in our input values. And we solve it. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. So f of 2 equals negative 3. Now we need to find f of 4. So we plug in 4. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Negative 8 plus 1 gives us negative 7. So f of 4 equals negative 7. We have one more value to plug in, one more x value from our domain. So f of 6 equals negative 2 times 6 plus 1. And again, negative 2 times 6 would give us negative 12. Negative 12 plus 1 gives us negative 11. So our range, when given the domain 2, 4, and 6 for this function, is negative 11, negative 7, and negative 3 in order from least to greatest. Now, what if it's given to us in reverse? Let's say instead of it giving us the domain values, what if it gives us the range values? So it gives us what y equals. We got to find out what x equals. So when y equals 2, what does x equal? When y equals 3, what does x equal? And when y equals 4, what does x equal? So let's find out. So this time we're going to fill it in a little different. Instead of f of the number, we're going to do it differently because again, now we know what the range is. We know what the y values are. So we take out f of x and we're going to plug in our y values. So it's going to be y equals, right? So 2 equals x minus 1. We took out the f of x because we already know the y values. We don't know the x values, so we're not going to put parentheses for x this time because we're working kind of backwards. So now we solve for x. So x is going to stay there. We need to move this minus 1 to the other side. So to do that, we add 1 here, so it'll be x by itself. If we add to one side, we add to the other. So plus 1 on here, so 2 plus 1 equals 3. So for this one, x equals 3. So again, when y equals 2, x equals 3. Now let's look at the next one. When y equals 3, what do we get? So again, we add 1 to both sides, so x will be by itself because the negative 1 plus 1 will cancel out. So 3 plus 1 is 4. So for that one, x equals 4. And our last one, we plug in the 4 for our y value, and we solve for x, and we get x equals 5. So for this one, our domain would be 3, 4, and 5 when given a range of 2, 3, and 4 for the function x minus 1. Okay, so I hope you all find this valuable and you understand how it works. Now, our code word for today is going to be domain. Our code word for today for this video is going to be domain. So make sure you write down this word, domain, and plug it in to show that you watched the video all the way through. Thanks, guys.